This is Ideas to Human Better, and I am Eva Payne. Today, I'm talking with a gentleman who attended the Flow Life Retreat a few months back, and he is open and willing to share his experiences with the various healing modalities that we offer at the retreat and just his journey, what brought him to psychedelics, specifically psilocybin, and where his life is today. So, without further ado, Klaus, welcome to Ideas to Human Better. Thank you so much, sir, for being willing to share your experience.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's just jump right in and talk about a little bit about you. Just let the audience know who you are, what your life was like prior to coming to the retreat, where you were at. Why would you even choose in to something like this?
Well, I've always had a difficult life. I was brought up in a very hostile environment growing up, and I always felt like an outsider amongst even my family members, and even within uh, the religion that I followed. I just felt so separated from everybody. So you just, as a kid, teenager, and a young person, you just move on. You follow the routines that everyone does. You go out, you get married, you get a job, you do things that everyone else does. And there was always missing pieces in my life, and some tragedy happened in my life that it made me um, just second guess what I was doing, and wondering what I was doing. So yeah, it was just, I was looking for some answers that I um,
Yeah.
uh, could not find anywhere else. So I just started searching for anything different.
Mm.
Prayer is a good thing, a community, having a group of people together. That's a good thing, but something I needed for myself, something that was for me, something that that I could do for myself. And I think that was what I was missing. I was doing so much for other people,
Mm.
and I realized it was time for me.
Yeah. When did you first hear about, or do you even remember when you first kind of heard about psychedelics and psilocybin and the benefits of it? I mean, when did that even come into your awareness as like a possibility for healing and coming to some peace with your past?
It was probably about a decade ago. I've always, um, I think, moving over to Washington State, there was a lot of people here who were into foraging and mushrooms, and the effects of it. So I always had some sort of interest in that, and how it was medicine, and that it was doing wonders to people. But I also heard the other stories where people use it to party, as a
Yeah.
college thing, and I just didn't quite buy it. There was something more to it, and so I just started just to do my own research and own looking into it for myself, not to take too much stock in other people's words.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we chatted for, several times before you ended up choosing in and saying, okay, it was like this. Okay, it's gonna when the timing is right. So tell me about that. Tell me about when you were like, okay, this is it. Like, what was either happening in your life, or how did you know to say yes to this experience at this time?
There was a big heartbreak in my life, and that it shattered me, um, because I thought um, human decency wasn't there. I didn't think love was there.
Mm.
I just didn't quite understand the actions of other people, because I looked at myself in my journey of recovery. I was uh, going through a divorce, and I just start questioning. It's like, wait a minute, I'm a good person. What's the problem here? I just don't quite understand what's happening to me.
Ah, yeah.
And so when I met with you and started reading your information and watching uh, your podcasts and listening to other people's experiences that it just struck a nerve with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is something that's important. I need to do in order to save my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for trusting our team with the process. So let's jump into that. So you come to Oregon, to co-ed retreat. What was your experience like? And it can be your experience with the medicine or even the other modalities. I feel like some of the other ones may have even been a benefit as well to you. So just wherever you want to share, whatever, any experience around the retreat itself and the modalities there that you found to be beneficial, helpful, even if it was challenging.
I what I was truly impressed, and I purposely did a co-ed because again, my question always was raised in my head is, can we coexist, male and female? Is there really love? Is there self-sacrifice?
Yeah.
Is it really real? So when I think everything from day one and how yourself and your team set the intentions immediately, it was it was welcoming. It was so warm, and you created such a safe place. And that's one thing that I've taken from that. I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but
That's okay.
initially I felt safe,
Yeah.
guarded, but yet I was safe. And when we jumped into our intentions and we did the Hawaiian prayer, which I've never heard of, and when we did it, it set the tone for the rest of the retreat. And it was like an instantaneous. I can trust these people, and
Yeah.
that was very important.
Yeah. You're speaking of Ho'oponopono, which is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It's four simple statements that when said, whether it's to yourself or out loud or just even in the mind to someone else, whether that person's standing across from you or someone that in your past, it there's something super healing about that. And I've found that when we incorporate that into the first night, it really bonds a group together. So I'm so glad that you felt that. That's the intention, is to, like, how do we create, we've got perfect strangers here. How do we bring everyone together to feel safe in this space? And that's one of the activities that just right away helps to set that tone.
Yes.
So I'm glad you got something out of that. So let's move into the second day. We've got guided meditation, cold plunge, breath work, and the journey. What stands out for you here? What are some of the things that what are some of your takeaways from that first full day of the experience?
My intention, I was preparing, and through preparation for this journey, um, we we were asked to bring photographs or keepsakes that remind us of what we wanted
Yeah.
to do, and it it happened, but then yet it didn't happen the way I expected. I didn't really know I was in the journey when it started. I was a bit not confused, but it was just I just saw some flashing lights, and I lay down briefly with my headphones and my blindfolds, but I just quickly became slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then I chose to sit outside, and it was a beautiful day that day. I think it was cloudy the night before,
Yeah.
and it seemed like the perfect weather for us. It was the temperature wasn't too hot, the sun was out, and there was. So when I sat outside and on the rocking chair, I knew my journey began because I started to dig deep into where it reminded me of my grandfather and just the type of person he was. And he was the one. He was the one that I can recall that was always supportive of me.
Hmm.
He was a pauper. He was a poor man. He lived in an apartment, but yet he was the most encouraging person at that time as a child that I could be safe with him. And he was always encouraging me. And he knew what was going on at home, but he couldn't do anything. It
Yeah.
was out of his control. And I thought that was very, it was important that he was involved in this journey. And it just started to take different directions, and just going through the extreme abuse that I've encountered, and um, with my parents. So it was like he was there to guide me through that, that
Mhm.
knowing he was there. So
Yeah.
then everything started to get brighter. Everything just started to change. Everyone around me, when I was talking to them, is just the tone of everybody became more pleasant, more peaceful, and I could really hear the birds singing. I could see the white clouds, and everything just seemed brighter and bigger. And it was like the earth was telling, it was purposely grounding me. It was, which is ironic because the whole journey I was walking barefoot.
Yeah.
I was wandering around the property, just my hands behind my back, walking around, just kicking stones, walking on stones, and just working through what happened. And it was such an experience where everything just quieted down in my head. Wasn't so much noise. It wasn't all this loud white noise that I've always have.
Mhm.
It was just everything got quiet
Yeah.
in my head, and I just started to just really analyze and work through, what made me who I am, and questioning where I'm going to be next week or the week after, and in the future, and really look all at myself and see, am I truly worthy? Am I truly loved? Am I loving? Am I important? So all those things just transpired within those hours of the journey.
Can you tell me a little bit about the photos? You mentioned them. How did those help or not help? We ask people to bring actually printed out pictures because sometimes it can be a good grounding tool or just something to be reflective on. Did you find it to be helpful? How did you utilize those? I know you mentioned them earlier, so I just wanted to kind of circle back around to that.
I laid him. Well, actually, Alan, who was helping me, he laid him. He took him out, laid him out on the bed because I was nervous. I didn't know if I was ready. The Give me a second.
Yeah,
The
you're fine, sir.
the photograph of myself as a child,
Yeah.
it was always poison to me. I had a hard time holding the photograph, and when there was years ago, I was handed my school pictures from my mother, and in that envelope, I just felt it was. I can hear the noise. I can feel the pain. I particularly just brought one because it was the beginning. It was my kindergarten picture, so I'm 5 years old,
Yeah.
and I had it on a clipboard that I inherited from my grandfather. He
Mm,
just took some clipboard that he just painted on it. He was an artist. He did oil paintings, pastels, and I have a few of his paintings in my house. So I just felt that was important to have that together. And I had some crystals that on there, and when I went downstairs to look at it, it just it just kind of broke inside, or just everything just started screaming out loud in my head, and the room just lit up. And I kind of remember losing my balance a little bit and kind of just stepping back and up against the wall. and I just pushed out all this air. I gasped, and then I just forced it all out, and then I just went back outside and started wandering around the property again.
Yeah. What was
And
So how was that experience? Was that a hard experience to go through? Was it relieving? Did you feel compassion towards that little you? Like what was going on inside when you were looking at that picture of yourself as a little kid on the medicine?
I felt definitely empathy and a sadness to him
Yeah.
because he was so confused. He didn't know what was happening to him. He didn't know why he was there, and I can remember vividly the photograph being taken. I can remember putting that shirt on,
Mm,
and I have no idea what I was doing. It's picture day, all the pictures of what, you know. And it's interesting because even to this day, I still have that uncomfortableness of taking pictures of myself because a picture can tell you a lot about somebody. And just going through all those photographs and seeing the fake smiles and putting on a smile, it was just so important for me to address that. It was important to me to look at my younger self and to say it's not your fault,
yeah.
to say that you had no control. It's not your responsibility. You didn't. You did the best you could, and I knew preparing for this journey, I had to deep down address that.
Yeah.
And when I did, it was a big relief because now I'm admitting to myself that it was not your fault, and I know for my whole life it was my fault.
Mm,
It's my fault. What did you do wrong now? Who did you disappoint? Um, you got to do better because you're a bad boy.
mm,
So when I did that, that's where I realized when I left that go, when I saw that photograph and I lost my balance and just blew out air and just it was a sigh of relief that it was time to let go and it was time to believe that it wasn't my fault.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable and just sharing that moment with me and with whoever is going to be listening or watching this. It's really powerful. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's step into integration the next day. Was there anything on that day that stands out to you that,
Buddy,
processing through the sound healing, the art, is there anything on that day, just the connection with the other people? Like what kind of stands out on the day after the journey for you?
the witness circle was a big deal for me to through our journeys, all of us went our separate ways. And then I know that the two married couples that were there, they're eventually integrated back to each other during the journey so they can work with each other in their journeys. And the witness circle to go through and everyone, because what I thought was beautiful, it wasn't rushed. We went through our journey. We had dinner. We had our journals to reflect. We all took showers because it took a lot out of us physically too. And that was something I was. It was weird me for me personally because I do work out. I do a lot of exercise. It was an exercise, and our bodies definitely felt it. So going into the third day in the witness circle, we're all showered, pretty much rested. It was amazing everyone's experience that day and everyone's own perception of each other. And we would tell stories of when we did interact with each other during the course of that journey. And
Mhm.
I fell in love with every single one in that room during that witness circle. And it just, they see their own transformation 2 days, a day and a half before was completely different people. And the integration with Ashley is wonderful, and just her, because she wasn't there, was through Zoom to get her perception of what was happening to each one of us was it was mind blowing and very humbling to see. The yoga was a different type of yoga, but it was just wonderful because it's just again we felt it physically. That journey did if it's our neck or our shoulders or lower back, it was nice to just get to put this again. You set it up where you push all that garbage out of our bodies. Now we're physically doing it. Not the
Mm.
psilocybin does it here in our head and our heart, but now the third day is physically pushing it out and our body held on to it, what was left over. And I thought that was just great. And the art integration was the most beautiful. What I took a lot from the art integration is when I noticed yourself and all the help, the facilitators all stepped back,
Mm.
physically stepped away from us as you were around that table, and you let us be us,
Mhm.
and we were just joking around, talking, and just being silly, and just creating all this art and using all these colors and encouraging one another. And it was just different from the other day because it was so serious, and there was tears, there was laughter, but yet there was all this. It seemed like we were just getting rid of garbage
Mhm.
and dealing with things that we've never dealt with, and to go and sit there at a table with art and just it's over. It's like now we were all different people. We're just enjoying each other's company, and then it turned into the gratitude dinner, which was even. It was just we're just so grateful to be there, and it was worth. I could tell from everybody it was worth it, and take it from that night to the first day. The nervousness, the wondering is all gone from all of us, and that's what I noticed that from the third day.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. Let's just move into, weeks after. I mean, it's been several months. How has your life shifted? How has your perception of yourself or whatever, your community, your life, how has it shifted since then? How's your life different from pre coming to the retreat to post?
There is some friends that are no longer friends, and there's people who have come into my lives that become good friends, and I do keep in touch with the ones who are in the retreat with me via either Instagram or texting. Um, I have it. My outlook on myself is I know I'm worthy of better things,
Mm.
and there's there are boundaries set up that I won't be treated a certain way, and I've it's now clear to me than it was ever before in my life,
Yeah.
to the point where the job I've had, I've recently, yesterday was my last day. I quit that job.
Mm.
And I mean, I started a new job Monday, but I also realized there's always going to be sacrifices in your life. But if those sacrifices are going to be where it's going to make your life better, then you need to take it. So I learned that from Flow Life Retreat, where it was a sacrifice to put myself, not just me, but everyone who was there
Yeah.
had to sacrifice to be there. So now I realize now in my everyday life, if I have to take a pay cut in order to find my flow
Mhm.
or keep my flow, I will do it, and that's what I did. And it was a gratifying feeling to turn in my notice. And yesterday was a bit awkward, but again, it's to get my flow back. And I felt as time went on after retreat, it was starting to close back in. And I was like, no, no, no,
Mm.
it happened again.
Yeah.
And that's what's changed for me because I, in my old self, would have just let it collapse on itself. And now it's like, okay, no, 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 just keep that open. And
The awareness.
yeah, so it's definitely a journey. I feel um, more in tune of myself, what my body needs, and whether it's physically or spiritually or emotionally, I'm more in tune on what I need. And who wants to get up at 4 in the morning to go hiking for 7 miles? Nobody, but I do it. I grab my dog and we go for 15 miles on a weekend, and I'm in the sauna every day. I'm in the cold plunge every day. You just constantly just you keep that flow going. So that's where I've been since the journey.
Good for you, sir. Way to take care of yourself, way to advocate for yourself, way to like I know it's not probably easy to leave a job, just like it's not easy to leave a relationship or a bad habit, anything that's just not serving you anymore, and to be courageous and step into something new. And that's what you're doing. You are advocating for yourself and for your mental, spiritual, physical well-being through the choices that you're making. It doesn't mean life is butterflies and rainbows from there on out. We chatted a little bit about that, just how you're doing right now. And, life is still challenging and can still be hard, but I love your perspective now. It's beautiful. Thank you for choosing you and continuing to do that and expand and learn those lessons and step more into that wholeness. It's really beautiful to see and to witness. And thank you so much for trusting us with this process. I know stepping into that journey can be so frightening for people. They're not just frightened about the experience and what's going to come up or how they're going to perceive it, but facing the things that are hard. A lot of people are really afraid to step. They think it's going to be really traumatic to look back at their childhood or whatever challenge that they have faced in their life. And, thank you for sharing that. Maybe while it wasn't the most comfortable or the most easy, that there was a lot of compassion around it. This medicine is here to help us and love us. It doesn't want to frighten us away, and so thank you so much. It's been truly an honor to watch your growth and be a part of it and to step into your life momentarily, at least, to be able to help set off this new ripple.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate you and all the people involved. With psilocybin, it to add to what you're saying, it's not brutal. It's the most caring medicine I have ever received. It's not harsh. It gradually brings you to where you need to be,
Mm,
and you may not know it at that time, but at the end, and that's what I was so impressed with everyone there. I when I explain my experience is one thing, and two, I do take from it. I remember meeting everybody. It was kind of like handshakes and side hugs, kind of hesitant. You just everyone kind of, just kind of on guard. But at the end, none of us wanted to leave each other. We were hugging, complete bear
yeah,
hugs,
yeah.
and crying, and that's one thing I think about a lot when it starts to come back down. I pull myself back up by thinking that what the medicine did was it brought all of us together. So within 4 days, that close, and we were connected. We're connected for the rest of our lives because of that experience. And that psilocybin, it's a loving medicine, and that's the way I describe it. And it's the most. I think it's. I don't. I believe it's the most important medicine out there.
Me too. Me too, sir. Hence why I do this work
Yeah.
and I'm not afraid to speak about it because, I have seen hundreds of stories like yours, different because we're all unique and we're all different. The medicine knows you, it sees you, it honors you and where you're at, and it gives you exactly what you need. It shows you what work is yours to do
Hmm.
and creates a path for you to do it. Thank
And
you so much.
yeah, thank you. And one last point:
Yeah, please.
don't be afraid of it because it's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
It's you touched on it earlier that people are afraid, and when I do bring it up, I can see the hesitation, the look, and what about? Let's take a deep slow down. It's not afraid of you. Don't be afraid of it. It's gonna love you, and it truly does.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on this podcast today, for sharing your thoughts and your story with all of us. It's truly an honor and a privilege. And I appreciate you. I love you.
Love
And
you.
I'm so grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful.
I'm grateful too. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to take you out of the stream and say bye to everyone. So don't
All
go anywhere. And then I'll say bye to you. Hold on. Thanks everyone for being here on another episode of Ideas to Human Better. Thank you, Klaus, for sharing your story. Thank you for sticking around and for holding space for it. And if this is something that you feel called towards, just take the baby steps. Continue to listen to more stories, go out there and do the research. Your intuition will let you know. There is divine timing in all things. And if this is a path for you to explore, the option will continue to come up. And if I can be of service to you, please let me know. Have a beautiful day. Much love.